don't have enough at the table.
Kia ora koutou. We'll commence this meeting of the Planning Committee of Auckland Council, Ko Miti Whakariti Mahiri. And it is the 1st of July, where half of the year has gone. We're into the second half. And today, members, we've got quite a long agenda in front of us. Welcome to you all. Welcome to the Mayor. Welcome to the councillors, Independent Māori Statutory Board members, members of the public, and our officials of Auckland Council and the other agencies, the CCOs, if they're with us as well. Welcome to you all to this meeting of the Planning Committee. I will start with by taking apologies. And I've received an apology from Councillor Professor Collins for absence, from Councillors Hills and Young for lateness, and I will record those accordingly. Take the motion, I'll move that, and seconded by Councillor Simpson. All those in favour say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no, and declare that carried. Now we have a request from 3 members to access the meeting by electronic attendance. Councillor Fletcher and Independent Māori Statutory Board member Leanne Namani, who is out of Auckland currently, and Councillor Stewart. So I'll put that motion, approve the electronic attendance. Do I have a move for that? Councillor Mulholland. Do I have a second? And Councillor Filipaina. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. Declare that carried.
Excuse me, Mr Chairman. I don't know how long you're going to go today, but it might be apology for early departure on council business for Councillor Henderson and myself. Okay,
we'll note that. It's not so much about how long I will go, it's about how long we will go. But we'll note that. Thank you. Declarations of interest. I haven't received any. If you could please let me know if there are any declarations of interest on any topic on the agenda. There are none. I will move to confirming the minutes of the 3rd June meeting, the open minutes, and also the 24 June meeting. That's our extraordinary meeting where we dealt with the Regional Land Transport Plan. The motion is before us. I will move. Do I have a second, please? Yes. Councillor Simpson for the second. I'll put this motion, and all those in favour say aye. 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 Contrary, no. Declare that carried. Thank you. Now we go to public input, and I'd like to accord precedence to item 5.1, which is to hear from Manurewa High School. And it's good to have them here. And they will be speaking to us very shortly. Then we'll hear, I just do need to go through those that have been accepted and declined though. I did decline a request from Charles Levin, who wanted to talk about the National Policy Statement on Urban Development, targeting his conversation at walkable catchments. And it is on the agenda, obviously. And ordinarily that would be accepted, but members, I'd already accepted, 3 public input presentations, and there was no time allowed. This would have taken us well over the half hour that our standing orders indicate. So that was declined, but we'll be hearing from Manurewa High School on affordable future housing. And we'll also be hearing we'll be taking receipt of a petition. No, that's under petitions. Public input from Ed Clayton, who will be looking at the green tracking of light rail in Auckland. Okay, I call upon Manurewa High School to come to the table. And we've got Jasmine Rahman, Braxton Phillips, and Annalena Namoa, Tegan Pegler, Elvis Long, Amisha Mahara, and Brittany Chapman, and Atalina Chand. And I hope I've got your names right. Big welcome to Auckland Council, and really welcome your contribution here today. And it's in your hands.
Kia ora guys, my name is Jasmine.
My name is Elvis.
My name is Tegan.
Hi everyone, I'm Annalena.
And I'm Braxton, and we are the affordable housing project for Manurewa High School. During our time on this project, we have learned
You'll have to, sorry, little 101. Each time you speak, you're going to have to press that button and make sure you can see the red light, because we've also got people that are connecting by electronic means, and they won't hear you unless your red light is going.
Sorry about that. Kia ora, I'm Braxton, and we are the affordable housing project from Manurewa High School. During our time on this project, we have learned a lot about mathematical modelling and how it's used in housing. We've learned about how to use it within housing and what the key concepts are in these. I'll pass it on to Annalena.
To carry on from what Braxton was saying, we also researched about future affordable housing in Auckland and how this will affect us for our future. And here are some key issues we identified during our research. One key issue we identified was that bigger families may be unable to pay for properly sized homes. What I mean by this is because bigger houses with more facilities cost more, those bigger families who have to support more mouths may end up cramped in these small homes. This especially applies to Pacifica families in South Auckland, as these families tend to have larger numbers of family living in one home. So our main point here is that people really shouldn't be penalised for having more children. In the future, we would like to see some more regulation or support for these larger families to make larger homes more affordable for them.
Another issue that we have identified is noise level in relation to houses, in relation to privacy in Auckland is often overlooked. When people talk about privacy, we found that people don't really talk about the amount of noise that you can hear from other houses. For future housing, we would like to see more soundproofing measures put into place, especially in terraced housing, and that will be vital in the upcoming years as more houses are being built in close proximity to each other, leading to more noise and less privacy.
Another issue that we've found is the relation of housing and transport accessibility for those who rely on public transport. Housing within the suburbs that are further away from the transport hubs are cheaper than those closest to these transport access points. We also think public transport should become more accessible in suburbs further away from the city, as houses closer to the city tend to be more expensive. We think that public transport accessibility should be less of a deciding factor when buying houses. This is important as the world is becoming more eco-conscious. People want to buy electric cars to reduce carbon emissions, but for those who can't afford these cars, public transport would be their second option. We believe that we should have measures so that low-income families should have easier access to public transport.
Finally, to summarize, there are some solutions that we would prefer to see in the future to make housing more affordable, so that by the time we decide to invest in houses, we can find reasonably affordable houses in our suburbs. So firstly, there can be more support provided to larger families to promote adequate living conditions. Secondly, there should be more soundproof houses to increase a sense of privacy in homes. Thirdly, there should be regulations put up in place to support people and families with low income who can access public transport easily. Now we know that our future is in your hands in terms of investing in houses. So we really hope to see these solutions being implemented in future to make housing affordable in Auckland for young people like us. Finally, to conclude, I'd like to say from the team and I, thanks for listening.
Oh, don't go away. Stay with us, because I'm sure the mayor and councillors will have a range of questions for you. And I'll start with the ward councillor for your area of Manurewa, and that's Councillor Newman.
Good morning and thank you very much. And I note also Councillor Dalton's is coming in as well. So I hope in front of me, one of you will take over from me and do stand soon, because you need to be part of the conversation about the future for Auckland. I think that one of the challenges that I see is the availability of land for development. And the land that is available is skyrocketing in price. So can you give some reflection back to this group of people, if possible, as to what you were seeing with the sort of land around Manurewa High School that is being sold? What is the sort of housing that's going in there? And is that sort of housing that's being built, those little townhouses, is that going to be conducive to those big families that you're talking about that have housing needs, or is that just a recipe for overcrowding?
Oh, could you repeat the last part of that question, please?
Could you give some comment to this committee, the sort of housing that you were seeing that's been developed on those sections around Manurewa High School, that town housing that's been developed, is that going to be big enough to accommodate those big families that need the housing, or is that housing that you're seeing a recipe for overcrowding?
I'm not sure about everyone else, but I've definitely noticed more land intensification with like apartment styles. Although I think this may cater to more like couples or small groups of people, it may not actually cater to larger families, like we said. Yeah, but it is great that it's near facilities like Westfield.
Thank you.
Well, I had one follow-up question. With that housing that's been developed, if there isn't the public transport choice available, and if people are forced onto cars with all those people living there, what's the capacity of those local road networks to accommodate all those additional vehicles?
If you don't have that answer and you'd like to think about that, and maybe you'd like to come back to us, you could write to us and follow up your submission here today.
Yeah, that would actually be much more appreciated, because we'd actually quite like to talk with the rest of our group about these kind of questions, because we didn't really cover them while preparing.
Good idea. So feel free to come back to us, and you can write to us, and we'll make sure that the Mayor, councillors and independent Māori Statutory Board members receive your further submission. Okay, we'll go to Councillor Filipaina.
Kia ora, Chair. Mōrena koutou katoa to our young ones, our rangatahi. Look, my question is based on that first bullet point you have up there, which is bigger families and bigger houses. Are you considering, or have you made an appointment to speak to Kāinga Ora? Because I know that with their developments, and a lot of our whānau, our ainga, are living with, multiple members of the family. So have you ever thought of going through there? Because I know there's some initiatives that they do with bigger homes because of bigger families. So are you planning to sort of present to their board?
Not really. This is more of kind of like a school project to bring more awareness to our students instead of, taking direct action. Yeah, but I think that would be a great next step for our group. It'd be really cool.
I would suggest, and I know that your teacher is here, or your support person, is here. I think that'll be a very good move for you to go through and present to them. Kia ora. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Filipaina. Next year, we'll be introducing, in partnership with the government, a discount, a 50% discount for those that hold a community services card. And you emphasise in your submission better access and probably affordable transport so that you can connect to friends, places, job interviews, learning, earning, etc. Do you think a 50% discount on for community service card holders would be a good thing, or do you think it's not going far enough? Do you have any comment on that? Now, I'm putting you a little bit on the spot here because you may not know that detail, but you probably know the cost of catching the bus, catching the train, and what it would be like, how different it might be if you received a 50% discount on those fares if you were a community services card holder.
To me, that sounds like a great idea, and I think that would help a lot of our older community who have been in the community services and it would also take like an initiative for younger people to go into community services, helping everyone out, while also getting like something paid back to them, and it would just be great.
Okay, good to hear. Mayor Goff, please.
I'm just going to say thank you to your class for undertaking that project. We live in a big city. It's 1.7 million, and by the time you guys are out in the workforce or studying at tertiary, it'll be about 2 million people. So we need more houses and we need better public transport. So we're working with central government on both of those things. But we take on board the points that you make about we've got to have houses fit for the circumstances of the family to live in. With more people living intensively, you need to have provision so that you've got soundproofed walls so that you're not hearing the conversation in the flat next to you or the apartment next to you. And it is about affordability too, and that's our big worry, because house prices have gone up so much. And we're hoping that the government measures that were introduced recently will have an impact on levelling off house prices, so that by the time you come to have families and want to get into a home of your own, that is a possibility for you. So thank you very much for being here today, and good luck with your project.
And can't go yet. One more question. Councillor Simpson, please.
I was just going to say thank you very much. I support everything you're saying. My question to you is around public transport as well. Look, you're of an age that you probably soon, if not, can get a driver's licence. Is owning a car something you think you aspire to, or do you think that public transport is the way that Auckland, should provide enough public transport for you to get around, and especially around the bigger families? Do you think they will rely totally on public transport, or do you see a need for a car as well? And if so, why?
I think that's a great point about bigger families needing those cars, because I think it can be quite difficult to organise a transport via public transport. But I definitely see Auckland in the future moving towards a heavier reliability on public transport. Especially since, as Elvis said, everyone's becoming more eco-conscious about their carbon footprint. So yeah, I definitely think the need for cars will definitely decrease, but those bigger families may need cars, yeah.
Sorry, can I just say something? I also think that with the more people in Auckland transport, like in buses, trains and stuff, that's less traffic on the roads and stuff too, because 70 people in a bus compared to 70 people in cars is a lot less area being taken up, so the cause for all this would just lower traffic rates a lot more and be faster to get around.
You know the future. Thank you. Look, really big thanks from all of us. We really appreciate this, and we're in this conversation today and on our agenda. But I'm going to suggest Councillor Dalton, Councillor Newman, would you like to second these motions? And I suggest that we refer your submission to Councillor Bartley, your affordable housing political working group of Councillor Casey, yourself, and Councillor Cooper with the staff, and they will read and discuss your submission further, and that helps contribute to the directions that we take as a city by the decisions we make around this table. So your presence here today is contributing to the shaping of the city, and we're really grateful for your contributions, massively. Thank you. Kia ora. I'll put the motions though. All those in favour, it's moved and seconded. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. Declare that carried.